Previously, the deposed Empress Su Wan feigned madness for 3 years, plotting in the cold palace, until Consort Rou herself leaked the secret of the Northern Grain Road. The final piece is in place, and now the war begins. War came faster than anyone imagined. 200,000 northern riders smashed through the border. 3 cities fell in 10 days. Battle reports poured into the capital like snow. In the Golden Hall, the emperor's face grew paler by the day. The iron defenses that Minister Rou had sworn by crumbled fastest of all, because the men he had planted in the army had spent 3 years embezzling military pay and skimming grain supplies. Now that a real enemy had come, the soldiers didn't even have winter coats. The court stood paralyzed. Every general who could actually fight had been purged 3 years ago. At last, the emperor asked the question, where is the Su family army? Where are their 300,000 veterans? Everyone knew the army still existed, but it answered only to the tiger tally. And the tally had vanished 3 years ago, with a fallen grand general. Then came the ultimatum from the front. The northern king demanded 6 provinces. In the dead silence of the hall, an old eunuch suddenly fell to his knees, voice trembling. Your Majesty, this old servant has heard the tiger tally, maybe in the cold palace. The emperor went to the cold palace himself. For the first time in 3 years, he stepped into the prison he had built with his own hands. In the courtyard, Su Wan was feeding her pigeons, her robes worn thin, her back frail. Empress, he began, forcing warmth into a voice so false even he could hear it. I have come to bring you home. Su Wan did not turn around. She calmly scattered the last handful of rice, dusted off her palms, and said unhurried, Your Majesty wants the tiger tally. It was not a question. The emperor's face flushed crimson. You may have it, she continued. And then, at last, she turned. After 3 years, there was not a trace of madness left in those eyes. They were calm, sharp, like a sword sliding from its sheath. But I have 3 conditions. First, reopen the witchcraft case and clear the Su family's name. Second, the Rou family will be handed to me for judgment. And third, she spoke each word like a falling blade. This war, I will command it myself. Have you gone mad? The emperor blurted. Su Wan laughed then, laughed until tears shone in her eyes. Your Majesty, I have been mad for 3 years. You are only noticing now. 3 days later, at the great camp outside the capital, 300,000 veterans of the Su family army reassembled overnight. And when the woman in black and crimson battle robes rode onto the commander's platform and raised the tiger tally high, the roar that answered nearly split the sky. We greet the young marshal. The Su army had never forgotten. Before the old Grand General fell, his final order had been sent back along the lines. This tally passes to my daughter. To see the tally is to see your commander. Su Wan reined in her horse and looked out over the weathered faces below. She drew her sword and pointed it north. Brothers, today we collect every debt. For family, for country, all of it. Of the northern campaign, the history books needed only one line. The Phoenix Marshal marched and the North broke. She turned her father's defense maps into a killing ground, strangled the enemy's grain lines with 3 years of memorized supply routes, and in 40 days took back every inch of lost soil. On the day she returned, the people knelt along 10 miles of road, crying out Phoenix Marshal. And in the Golden Hall, the emperor listened to the cheering beyond the walls as the teacup shattered in his hand. At the first Grand Court Assembly after her triumph, Su Wan entered the Golden Hall in her battle robes, sword at her hip, and no one dared stop her. She brought 3 things. The first, secret letters seized from the Northern King's own war tent, iron proof that Minister Rou had sold the defense maps to the enemy 3 years ago, borrowing a foreign blade to murder her father and brother. The second, sworn testimony from the old eunuch of the imperial household, The witchcraft effigy had been sewn by Consort Rou's own senior maid, every stitch traceable in the ledgers. The third, a thick, bound register. Every payment the Rou faction had embezzled, every office they had sold, every life they had destroyed. Time, place, witness, evidence. All of it. The hall went silent as a tomb. Consort Rou crawled on her knees to the Emperor's feet, wailing her innocence. Su Wan looked down at her for a long moment, then said, very softly, words only the two of them would ever understand, "Little sister, the grain road has reached its end." The Rou clan fell in a single day. Consort Rou was granted the white silk, and on the night before her death, she went mad. After the reckoning, the whole empire waited for Su Wan's next move. Would she reclaim the throne? Rule from behind a curtain? What she did surprised everyone. She submitted a single petition, demanding 3 things. None of them for herself. A shrine for every soldier fallen in the north, with 3 generations of their families freed from taxation. Full back pay for all 300,000 men of the Sioux army. And 10 years of tax relief for the 6 war-torn border provinces. As for herself, I request the command of the northern frontier. The Emperor's hands trembled as he read. He finally understood. This woman had never wanted his throne. She had only ever wanted the debt settled. On the day Su Wan left the capital, it was snowing again. She rode out in her battle robes, and behind her followed 300,000 soldiers, every one a volunteer. Someone asked her, "Marshal, did you ever hate them?" She looked back, once, at the glittering golden city. Then she smiled. "I did. But now, the mountains are high, the road is long, and I have better things to do." The North never saw a war again. The histories record that Grand Marshal Su Wan guarded the frontier for 30 years, and the northern riders never again dared to look south. The Discarded Empress. The end. If this story moved you, subscribe to Second Life for a brand new heroine story every week. Until the next legend.